Citizenship was perhaps the most salient source of political legitimacy, and for women, marriage turned out to be the central component of her identity as citizen. This was critically important because around the turn of the century, most women married. In 1900, something around 85% of women over the age of 25 were married or had married. By 1920, that figure had reached 93%. Compare that to about 60% today. Because women were constructed in and outside the law as dependents on the men to whom they were married, marriage determined the status of a woman's citizenship. From the early Republic until 1855, the law discriminated against women. Like free white men, free white women born on American soil became citizens at birth. But unlike men, women did not have the right to pass on their citizenship status to children born abroad. While the child of a male citizen became a citizen by virtue of his or her father's citizenship, the child of a female citizen born abroad could not. The situation became more complicated in 1855 when Congress held that an immigrant woman who married an American man could become a citizen by virtue of her marriage. And then in 1907, it got more complicated still. That year, Congress decided that the citizenship of a native-born American woman who married a foreigner followed that of her husband. A wife was expected to become the citizen of the country of which her husband was a citizen. Suddenly, American women lost their birthright citizenship. The implications were enormous. Anarchist and birth control advocate Emma Goldman had gained citizenship through a brief marriage to an American citizen husband. Eager to deport her in 1919, federal authorities simply declared her husband's citizenship void and sent Emma Goldman off to Russia. Prominent American women whose fathers had sought to marry them to destitute European noblemen found themselves denuded of citizenship as well. Ethel Mackenzie, born and bred in a wealthy California family, sued unsuccessfully to keep her citizenship in 1915. To no avail. Her marriage to an Englishman rendered her no longer American. We should note that these rules assumed even greater significance for Chinese, Native American, and others who aspired to citizenship. Early on, Congress limited eligibility for citizenship to free white persons, a limit lifted for former slaves and African Americans by the 13th Amendment. But the citizenship of Chinese and other Asians, and of the women married to them, remained closely constrained. Until 1898, the child of a Chinese American born on American soil could not be a citizen because that person was not imagined as a white person. After that, children born of Chinese citizen fathers, but not mothers, automatically acquired citizenship. To prevent Chinese men from bringing in brides who might help them maintain and build families in the United States, unmarried Chinese women immigrants were assumed to be prostitutes and excluded or harassed by United States immigration officials. Marriage figured in calculating other benefits too. Widows' pensions for soldiers after the Civil War rested on evidence of a legal marriage. For African American women who had never been entitled to the benefits of marriage under slavery, the question of what constituted a legal marriage remained the province of a sometimes unsympathetic adjudicator. States that adopted mothers' pensions in the early 1900s granted them only to worthy widows or those whose husbands had deserted them without cause. But questions about legitimacy among the poor condemned many good women to go without aid. A woman who could not demonstrate her former marital status or who was unwilling to track a deserting husband was deemed immoral and ineligible for an allowance. Small wonder, then, that the disabilities of marriage contributed to discontent. When the question of suffrage moved into view, many women began to wonder if the constraints of marriage would deprive them of the democratic participation they were then seeking.